My Italian therapy is the place you want to be. My Italian therapy with Gina Fiore. My Italian therapy is the place you want to be. My Italian therapy with Gina Fiore. My Italian therapy is the place you want to be. My Italian therapy with Gina Fiore. With Gina Fiore. With Gina
Buongiorno
Fiore.
from
Gina
San
Fiore.
Martino in Abruzzo, Italy. I wanted to jump in and try and catch up a little bit and just ask of you not to have too much expectations of my channel. Why, you ask? Last year, when I arrived to this apartment in Italy, sight unseen, I was really not a seasoned YouTuber creating episodes of perfection and an editing genius or a filmmaker. And my camera, I did not know that when you're walking around, it was very bouncy and I had almost 1 million views on that episode. It was one of the worst episodes because I had spent 5 weeks in Portugal and it didn't really work out for me over there. And I was tired and kind of sad and when I arrived to this lovely, I'm looking outside, when I arrived to this lovely village and everyone was so kind and I loved my little 25,000 euro apartment, even though it was dirty. I was just happy to be greeted with happy, welcoming faces because that wasn't what I got in Portugal. In Portugal, sometimes things we do just don't work out. It's been a year and it's been a very, very challenging year for me. But then I'm finally back here and it was quite the trip. And not only was it quite the trip, it was really even hard for me to even book the tickets and make the plan and decide to make that trip with that old Suzuki. So, as I was doing these episodes from the time I left 2 weeks ago, I find that people are like, well, your channel's boring and, you should do this. And if you only say that and you repeat yourself, and maybe you should just not put so much times that you say things. Honestly, the channel was just for my son and I didn't plan on it going viral, which puts a lot of expectations on me for performance, for editing, for filmmaking. And it takes a lot of time to be someplace and have to videotape yourself. And I'm not a good selfie stick person. So a lot of times I'm not in the content until I can put myself on a tripod. As a single person traveling alone and creating these episodes alone, I don't have somebody who can film me. So anyway, long story short, which I have a hard time doing, as you probably see, I'm just trying to share my process and my trips and the information and how challenging it is to be a foreigner in a foreign country when you don't speak the language, any country, any language, out of your own country. And I don't do things for likes and hits and clickbait and all that stuff. It's just the God's honest truth. And I feel like if somebody doesn't like my channel, they're not going to subscribe. That's fine. I'm just trying to enjoy my life and share it and share the information and the process. But I don't know what my channel is yet. I was just practicing when it went viral, when I hit Italy last year. I was still practicing. I was still in the mode of going from one place to another, not knowing what the future brought. I guess if we sat around worrying about every moment and every video and every time we record something and everything we say, we would be filmmakers and have a staff, wouldn't we? You guys, I absolutely love that you're here and coming along with me. I've had people say, how do you feel about all of us being on your journey? I'm like, well, if there wasn't anybody here, it wouldn't be as fun. I wouldn't get comments. Sometimes there's negative comments, but like 99% of the comments are really encouraging and positive and fun. And I love hearing from you guys. So yeah, if you know anybody that you want to share this video with, that would be great. Please share it, like and subscribe if you'd like. And if you think it's really boring and too jumpy or whatever, or I repeat myself, you don't have to be here. You're here because you want to be here. And at some point, my channel will have a direction. I think last year when this channel went viral, people had the expectations that I was moving to Italy, that I was going to be a resident, that I was going to be here forevermore. And that was not the case ever. I was only here for 6 weeks and then I left. And, most of the people, they're like, well, she's not in Italy anymore. I don't want to follow her, which is fine because I can't change my process. Last year was very, very challenging for me. When I got home from my 3 months abroad in Portugal and Italy, I went and got an x-ray, and then I went and got a CAT scan, and I found that I had lung cancer. And I spent the summer trying to do everything I needed to do to have lung surgery. And I ended up having a portion of my lung removed. It was cancer. I've had cancer since 1997. And I'll get back to that in a second. So I spent the whole summer finishing 2 projects, one huge renovation in New York that I've been working on for 4 years. I finished it and I sold it and closed on it in July. And simultaneously, I had another property that I bought that I turned a garage into a house. And I decided to sell that as well after I returned from Portugal. I decided I didn't want to deal with land and wells and septic and off-grid and electric, even though I had power and gas and stuff. I just didn't want to worry about closing it up every winter. So I put that on the market and I sold that in November. 3 days I closed before my cancer surgery, before my lung surgery in Rochester, New York. It's been, November, December, January, February, March. It's only been 5 months since my cancer surgery, my lung surgery. And because I had many, many surgeries on this side since 1997 and a mastectomy of reconstruction, when they did that lung surgery, I was in bed for 5 weeks. It wasn't because of the removing of the portion of the lung. It was because it antagonized and inflamed my entire chest from the mastectomy and from the tumors that I had removed. It was just horribly painful. So when I said earlier that it was a challenge for me to even schedule and conceptualize making this trip, I'm telling you, I mean it. But I knew that if I didn't do this and get that car from Portugal that I had bought to Italy and get back here now, I didn't want to come in the summer. It's too hot and it's too crowded in the summer. And you saw that from being in Barcelona. I am not a city person. I want to hear the birds and I want to hear quiet. And the only noise I want to hear are tractors and people talking and just my own feet hitting the pavement or the trail. So, man, it was tough. It was either do this trip now or else I was going to end up just staying in that apartment of mine until we moved into another apartment in June, at the end of June. And I couldn't take it anymore. So I just pushed myself, and it was very, very hard to plan. It was not an easy trip. There was a lot of increments, and there still are even to get home. I really don't want to leave. But the challenges of being a resident in Italy do not fit with me. They never have. I was going to live in Portugal and I was just going to come here for half the year. So some of you say, oh, you changed your plan. Yeah, I did that a year ago. And I am contemplating getting my residency in France. As much as I would love to change my location of doing this chat with you, I just don't have the energy. I'm telling you what, I'm really tired. But one thing I wanted to back up a little bit. Having cancer since 1997 changed my life. I have a book that I wrote about that process of changing your life when you get sick. And it's not really about cancer, so to speak, as much as changing your life and getting yourself out of the funk you're in, which a lot of people are because life is very stressful. And if you have an illness or an addiction or depression or anything that's holding you back from progressing or being a happy person, changing your life is difficult. And that's what I did starting in 1997 when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer. And also, I did not do chemo or any of the drugs, except for when I had surgery. And of course, I did my pain meds and whatever. But I'm still alive. It's like, what? It's like 29 years? That's, to me, is amazing. So I keep trucking on in my own way, never really knowing, where my path leads me. And it's because I was diagnosed with cancer in 1997. My son was born in the year 2000. Every year, I just didn't know if I was going to live beyond that. And here he's 25. So 1997, that's 29 years. A lot of you aren't even that old. Very small percentage who watch my channel are less than that. And through the years, because I survived and because I changed my life, I say I want to do everything all the time, all at once. I want to be here. I want to experience that. I want to do that. Because none of us know how long we're going to live. Isn't that correct? I mean, how do you feel about that? Have you had illnesses? Have you had challenges? Has your kids had challenges? Have you had losses and trauma? I'm telling you what, in the last 29 years, my life it's been brutal at times, brutal. And being single is by choice. I'm not single, I'm not lonely. I'm not single because I'm trying to be in a relationship or I've had failed situations, which I have. They just didn't work out because I was a different person. I made bad choices. I made not good choices. So I love being on my own. I love meeting people. I enjoy social get-togethers in small doses, and I'm mostly an introvert, which people will have a hard time believing that. When I do social outings in groups, it takes me a long time to recover. I'm not an extrovert by any means. I do not engage in groups and constant people because it takes too much energy for me. It takes me a really long time to recover. So over 29 years, I have learned what makes me happy and what gives me peace. And isn't that the key? I mean, it's not always perfect. Sometimes it's exhausting. But getting from point A to point B and accomplishing challenges and accomplishing goals and overcoming things that waylay your, like an illness or a surgery or whatever, that takes a lot of effort to get past it. Now, a lot of people do things and it takes so much effort to overcome the things that they've gone through that they just stay in that space, which is fine. It's fine as long as they're okay in their little world. That doesn't work for me because there's so many things I want to do. And I think because of coming face to face with death many times, having to overcome the fear of death and and loss and whatever, man, it makes you want to either curl up in a ball and die or overcome it and create more challenges for yourself. So you have goals to get to. And that's what I do. I can't say it's always fun. I can't say it's always interesting. I can't say it's not going to be boring. But I didn't create this channel to make everyone happy. That's impossible. So my book is still in the process of being edited. And I got delayed because of the surgery, and my editor got delayed because of his situation. So it was supposed to be done before I got back to Italy at this point. But it isn't. And I will get to it after I get some rest, because I'm telling you what, I am really tired. I went out to dinner with Giuseppe last night, and he said, "What are you going to do tomorrow?" And I said, "Sleep." So I got up and I went for a walk, and I made breakfast, and I laid down for a few minutes, and I'm going to go for another walk. I'm going to eat again, and then I'll just go to sleep, because that surgery really took its toll on me, and I still am not back to where I was before that surgery. And yet it's only been 5 months, and here I am in Italy driving a car 1,200 miles from Portugal to Italy through Spain. I mean, that's like insane. But I knew that I didn't want that car sitting there, because it would need maintenance. It had to be, parked somewhere, and I have that land that we're trying to sell as well. So that's one less thing I have to worry about. Here, the car is here. I need to find a place to park it. Yeah. So that's my life in an incremental explanation. And I love who's here, and I appreciate your comments and the joy it gives me to hear your stories. I can't even explain to you. And I know a lot of you are going to say, "Oh, don't worry about what other people say," and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, it's weird to have people commenting about your life and giving you suggestions, and, and telling you what to do, when you're just kind of living your life and you feel like, why am I sharing this? I guess because I can. And because eventually this channel will be something, and I will be somewhere, and I won't be bouncing back and forth from the US. Or maybe I will continue to do that. I really don't know. The possibility of doing residency in France is not carved in stone. I contemplate that all the time because of the challenges to actually be a resident of the EU and jump through all those hoops and the expenses and the process, and to leave your life behind. My son came to live with me last August too. That kind of added to the thing. So I got all the selling of my properties. My son jumped into the mix. I was already pushed to the limit when he got here. I had the surgery. We moved twice. I moved twice. And then we're going to be moving again into a larger apartment, since we need 1 more year to figure out what we're doing, my son and myself. So I said, let's share an apartment. Let's rent a bigger apartment for another year, because the one we're in is just so small. I thought I was going to put all my stuff in it. He was going to move to New York and take over the apartment, and I was just going to go do my thing, but it didn't work out that way. Because of the surgery as well. It's not because of him. It's just all of the mix of things that were going on. Life changes that way, right? You start in a direction, and that didn't work. Let's shift a little bit. Okay, we have this. Okay, how do we combine this, and how do we make this work? Now let's change directions. I don't have a problem with that. A lot of people out there watching my journey have a problem with it. I don't. I just do what I do. And if something doesn't work out, move on to the next thing. Life is a journey. It's the journey. It's not where you end up, is it? Okay, so just to wrap this up, and a little tour of my village in between these chats, which I've probably been doing. And I'm trying not to repeat myself. uh, all I can tell you is my life is really good. I feel blessed, as a lot of you, I'm sure, feel blessed. A lot of us have had a lot of trauma and challenges and loss at this stage in our lives. That takes its toll. We need to do the best we can. I still don't have power here in my apartment. Oh my gosh. So tomorrow's Monday, and I'm going to go and see if I can figure this out. Maybe the power will be remarkably turned on. That would be fabulous. Just I'd have, hot water and lights. Today I'm going to Giuseppe's to take a shower later. But life is good. We need to take the good, the bad, the ugly, the challenges of our choices. We just need to just do it, right? That's what I do. I'm not quite sure what you all do or what expectations you have of other people or yourselves. I only know what my life is like and how I survive the challenges and how I get through every day. And I was trying to explain this to my son a couple times. I said, the way I get up in the morning, I like to have something to get up for. I've been self-employed for 35 years doing renovations and real estate and rentals. And being self-employed, nobody's going to set your alarm for you. Nobody's going to make a plan for you. Nobody's going to bring business to you. It's all up to us self-employed people. And those people who go to a job every day, I admire that, but I couldn't do that, which gave me less of a retirement than you guys have. So made my life a challenge as I'm now 63 and trying to retire. But, getting up every morning and having a goal, I try and tell my son, I set myself up with something in the future as I'm working on the present. So I have something to get up for. But it's not just something. It's not just anything. It's something that I want to do, something that I choose to do, not something that someone else told me I had to do. It's probably not for everyone. It's just my choice. And sometimes it's very hard and crazy. But then, after you accomplish the goals, like my God, from coming all the way from the US and driving that car all the way here, I don't even know what would make me think that thing made it. I mean, it did. It had 291,000 miles on it. I bought it as a farm vehicle for my quinta, my 6 acres of riverland in Central Portugal. I did not buy it to make cross-country treks. I did not buy it to get on the autopista. I bought it to go up and down my road to the store. It's like, that was it. So for me to think that, oh my God, that thing made it. It's amazing. Without a glitch. Was a miracle. And I'm here, but there's no power. So, and I know through the last couple of videos, I've probably said that 100 times because I'm so tired, I can't remember what it is I've said. So, life is what we make of it, right? And if you're here, you get that. And if you're bored, you fast forward through half of my explanations. And I'm trying to create episodes that don't have as much movement, that have music and scenes. But in the midst of that, I'm trying to make fires to heat the house and make fires to heat my water so I can take a bath and to figure out what am I going to eat today. What can I buy that doesn't have to be refrigerated? I ate salami from yesterday this morning and I'm wondering, should I have eaten that? I figured all the meat and stuff that sits out, it's probably fine. And then the cheese, I had no way of refrigerating. And I went, woman, you should have bought ice. But that's even hard to find. People don't have ice here. So thank you for being here and listening to me and hanging out and going on my journeys, because I never know what tomorrow is going to bring, ever. I don't know what the weather's going to be. I don't know what the view's going to be. I don't know who we're going to run into. I don't care. And and the bells of the church are ringing. My little 1-bedroom apartment with the Chimentina tiles, with the leaks in the roof last year. We had the roof fixed. It's dry as a bone. There's cracks in the ceiling. I knew all that. I knew all that when I bought the place. I bought a 25,000 euro house. I didn't buy a €1 house because I can't deal with the ruins. But I knew that I was going to take the plaster off the ceilings, paint these brown doors, redo the electric and the plumbing, and possibly rent this place out and buy a place by the sea and get my residency in France. And I know that seems crazy to people, but if you go and get an apartment or a house that's completely renovated, you don't know what they've done. So I could probably take between 25 and 50,000 euro and put it in this place, and it would be perfection. Although the outside of the building and the people that own this building, they don't keep it up as good as I would like it to be. And I don't have any control over that because I didn't buy the rest of the building. I was like, I'm not buying the rest of this building because it's just not. They wanted too much money and it needed too much work. And they've actually got a renter on the first floor in that teeny icky apartment that was downstairs. So I don't even want to know. So I just stay here, kind of make a plan for the future and see where it leads me. And that's where we're going to leave it today. That's enough information. So for the future, we got my book coming. We're going to change this channel. It's going to be directed more towards you. Anything that's made from the YouTube channel is going back into the YouTube channel to go to locations where you guys want to go. But I'm not there yet. I'm too tired. So we got we're gonna do interviews with real estate agents, lawyers, relocation specialists, local businesses. I've tracked people down over the last year, and I'm going to be meeting with them. It might not be on this trip. It might be when I come back in October, but I am going to leave. For those of you who think I'm staying, I'm not. I can only stay for 3 months, and then I have to leave the EU for 3 months, and then I can come back for 3 months with a total of 6 months a year. That's all I can be here, but not consecutively. So that's the Schengen region laws, and I have to abide by them. So that's where we're going to leave it. Like I said, that's enough information for one day. If you guys have questions, please throw them at me. I'd love to answer them. We're going to go to the beach again on a more mellow time frame where we can actually chill. We're going to get the power turned on here so I can rest. I'm going to be doing some really cool cooking videos because we're going to make pasta and different dishes and simplistic things. And we're also going to talk about what we're going to do in this flat to renovate it. So that's what's going to come in the next 2 months. And thank you for being here and having patience and for your support and your comments. I love it, love it, love it. This would not be as fun, absolutely not as fun, without you guys being here. Because y'all joined me last year, and some of you have been here since the beginning and seen my transition from New York, the New York properties. But it's been really a great journey, and I love having you guys here. So thank you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the day. Buona giornata. Ciao from Italy. Buongiorno. Guess what? Guess what? Guess who called me? The power company. Day 10. We'll be there in 20 minutes. I'm like, yay! So they're on their way. They're on their way. They're on their way.